Hey everyone, Eric here with Rockin' HTV lesson number 3, K100 Build Along. Welcome to the new Rockin' H Lab. As you can tell, the lighting in here is much better than it was in the old garage. Thank goodness I got a lot of light in here so you could see everything really well and we could play along. Looking forward to teaching you guys all sorts of cool stuff tonight. I thought I was live a few minutes ago, but I really wasn't. What happened, I don't know, I was just sitting here playing along, and as it turns out, the live stream didn't actually go live. So, hi Matt, thank you for joining us. I was going to take a stab at your last name, but I decided I better not. No offense intended. I got Hazelhurst as last name, so people usually mess that up for me. If you are just joining us here for the first time, this is lesson 3 of the K100 build. Last week, we went ahead and cut this thing down. We temporarily glued it together with one of my favorite products in the whole wide world. Then we came back with JB Weld and JB welded the joint. And then this one you can see there's just a little bit of body filler here put on this morning. So this one is practice. If you're doing something for the first time, or maybe it's been a long time, and you have the resources, I always recommend do 2. I mean, that way you have one you can sell and one you can or give to your best buddy or whatever, and then one you can either keep or maybe it's a client project, who knows. But tonight we're going to go ahead and take this one and sand it down, body filler if necessary, and if there's time left, we will go ahead and cut the interior down so we can get that test fit, dry fit before this thing goes into primer. We may even get to some primer tonight. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So let's get a shout out here. Who's all? I see a number of people are already on. Thank you for that. What are you guys working on right now? If you're working on the K100 project, let's start with the K100 project. If you're doing a K100, how's it going for you? How's the project working out for you thus far? So we can go with that question to kick us off as we get settled in. And I've got everything here ready to go. So, wow, this is going to be good. Tacos. Garrett is working on tacos. Well, if you got to work on something, that's what I'd work on. For sure. All right. There's Matt. Matt Smith, how is your K100 project coming along? Painted already, but I didn't have to cut it up. Oh. Dustin's working on something else, I'd say. And we have Ray on board. Ray's a Colorado guy. He makes all these cool trucks you see on eBay. Alright, I'm trying to fix something while we're waiting here, but it isn't working out. Okay, 8:31, time to get going. We'll kick this thing off. My name is Eric, and this is Rockin' HTV, session 11, lesson number 3 of the K100 build along. We're making a regular cab out of a big bunk sleeper truck, and you know, first lesson was we tore it all down, stripped paint off of it. Second lesson, we cut it up, put some temporary glue on. Then we did some JB weld on there, and now and then this one's got some body filler. So tonight, where we're at is we're just going to clean it up, get all that off, see if we need any JB weld at all, and then we're going to cut up some interior, and if we have time, we'll prime it and get that done as well. So we got a lot to do tonight. We're not going to waste time. Let's get started. We're going to take a quick question here before we get too far. Dustin Montgomery's working on a K100 regular. I don't know if it's a regular cab or the big bunk sleeper stock factory, or if it's the chop job. And Matt has been building along. He is already a go-getter. Painted, put together, waiting to see how we're going to move the stacks. Ooh, yeah, that's a good puzzle. And another lesson is we got to stretch this frame too, so be looking forward to that. We'll do that next week. Get that frame stretched out there so we can have some fun with that. Okay, no more talking. Now there's time to work. Ward asked me if my heater got fixed, and I would say no, I have not made it down to Airgas to get me a new valve, which is local propane dealer. Now, you're not going to be able to see this very well, but I don't even know how important it is. What I'm going to do on mine is, you'll see, and I pointed this out last time, my intention here is, you can see these rivets on the side. I'm going to grind those clear. I'm going to just make this all smooth. And you'll see I did that here. See, no rivets on the side. Excuse me. Or the back. And you can do that or you don't. You can leave the rivets on there. I just, for something different, I'm just doing it that way. Okay. So here we go. Okay, here we go. Pretty rough. Pretty rough. Now, if you are first time watching this and you're saying, oh, I can never do that, I don't have power tools, if you use that as an excuse not to be awesome and make freaking cool ass models, and coming over to your house, I'm going to drink your last beer and leave you an empty fridge. So don't do that. Do not use power tools as an excuse not to be cool. You just get yourself just basic tools. You don't have to have anything fancy. You can do everything I'm doing with sandpaper and a file and a handsaw, okay? That is all the technical information you need. It's going to take you longer, but you can get this done, all right? I know. Talking about a tongue lashing, right, Matt? So don't use power tools as an excuse not to be awesome. You know, handsaw, a file, sandpaper, it's all you need. And you probably have those things on hand. If not, go spend $15 and get you those 3 things. Okay, I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm going to go down here. Okay, again. Okay, now I have my Dremel out, and I'm just going to come in here and do some sanding. Using a 180 grit sanding disc to do this work. Okay, that was pretty quick, guys. You can be a lot more glamorous than I'm being, and you know, yeah, you can be a lot more glamorous. But you know, it's done. And for this particular build, I'm not getting too carried away here. Okay, here we go. Is this the new shop? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Thank goodness we're out here. This is much better. Okay, so what we're going to do at this point, I think I got my disc on sanding wheel over here on that top, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. If you want to, you could come in here and seal up this line here if you want, but you'll notice it goes all the way around the cab. So do what you want there. You don't have to. You can if you want. After all, it is your model, okay? Then Dustin says, you can do the same thing with a cutoff wheel, and he's right. You can do the exact same thing with a cutoff wheel. Just like he very well put, you do have to be a bit more careful. I am using this because it's easy, and you'll notice I just got a little bit on the end of my knife. All I'm going to do is I'm coming in here just to clean up this line right here. Okay? I just want to cover that up. So that's all I'm doing here. Just clean that. And you'll notice with that sanding wheel, I was actually getting down into that pretty good. And you could actually probably just sand that off. Now you might leave a little bit of an indentation there because you're removing quite a bit of material. But you can just play with that and see how it goes for you. Okay. All right. That dude is, I think that's going to be all right. Okay, I'm going to let this chill. We're going to go back to practice now. All right. Actually, Jay, let me see. Jay says, I wish I had the patience like this. You actually have it. And you know what's nice is if you're doing a build along or you're in the lab and you're posting things that you're working on, you'll get a lot of attaboys and a lot of pats on the back for working because we're here to help you make freaking amazing things. And you know, all you need is just a little encouragement along the way and you'll get it. Okay, we're going back to practice. We now have, of course, I set them out and they're right in front of me. Now we have the interior. So if you want to be real precise, grab your measuring device, blah, and you can just measure the inside of this and get a rough idea. And it looks like we're going to be right at 1 inch and just a taste over 1/8. Okay, 1 inch and a hair over 1/8. Now we can come over here. And I would like to know what Matt did. How did you accomplish this task, buddy? If you would leave your idea here on how you did it, since you're already there, that'd be cool. So I'm going to do 1 inch and just a slice over 1/8. Okay. Now, again, if you have a handsaw, I used to have one that I wanted to show you, and I've misplaced it in the move. But anyway, you can cut this with a handsaw, jeweler saw, or something like that, just a hobby saw from your hobby store, and you can make a really nice cut. Okay, I'm just going to whack it off with my bandsaw quick, and then I'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. I'm going to just cut it, and then we're going to test fit it, okay? That's ugly. That is a fact. That is an ugly cut. If you were to use a jeweler saw and not do the fast way like I just did, you will have better results. Okay, looks like I'm just a hair big, but that's okay because I'm going to go back to the sander real fast over here and I'm going to sand it down so it fits nice and delicious. All right, hold on. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry it took a little longer than I thought it would, but luckily this isn't a race, it's a marathon. But we do only have 30 minutes and we want to make sure we use your time well, right? Okay, just picking off the burrs here because, again, you can do all of this with a handsaw and a file, sandpaper. Now, two things you want to keep in mind here. Make sure this doesn't fit too snug. That JB Weld works really well in here, but we don't want it so tight in there that you force it and you separate the back from the front of the cab. Don't need to do this, okay? All right, and then also, we put a bunch of JB Weld on the inside of this, right? Well, that's going to cause you trouble as you slide all this in there, okay? It's going to get super tight, so we got to be careful of that as well. So, one way to mitigate this little problem here along the edges, and that JB Weld on the inside is, one, do a great job of putting on JB Weld when you start. That's the first one. The second one is, come in here and you just trim this stuff down. I mean, no one's going to see this, guys, all right? I mean, unless you're going to take it apart for them and say, look what I did. You know, no one's going to see this. So if you get a little bit of this trimming done, you can make that bad boy slide up in there, and guess what? It'll fit. Now, you'll just have to play with this until you get it the way you want it and the way it fits, okay? Yours will be different than mine, obviously. You're doing the work on yours and I'm doing the work on mine. So play with it until you get it right. Okay? Okay, still a bit snug on the back end there. You can even come in here. It's okay. Just say, hey, I don't want to go back to the saw. I don't want to file that out. I'll just use my knife. Now, as always, I would not use a brand new blade because those things will, all you need that come thing to do is slide and slip and then ace your finger open. Okay, so we're just playing here, trying to get it to fit. Oh, one other thing, almost forgot. Right here, look at that. You got to cut this bad boy. Either cut it or file it or use your Dremel. You could use this sanding disc. Let's just play with that for fun. And then make room for the back of that cab. Oh, look at that. We can take that out. That's cool. Sounds like somebody's Dremel's not behaving well. It don't like me no more. I don't think my Dremel's got a very good attitude. Oh, good. Let's just get rid of that crap. It's not working out anyway. I kind of forgot all that was in there. Like I said, I should have cut down one of these cabs early this morning, but I ran out of time. I was busy shipping and other things. Okay. Ta-da. Are you gonna fit? Oh boy. It's a wiener hot dog. I think we got something that's gonna work. I don't think it's up there quite far enough yet, but oh, you can see. Yeah, you can see as you look in there. It's well, maybe not. That might be okay. You can go ahead and push that up in there a ways, and don't forget you got two little clips here, 1 and 2, that are going to match up to these holes on the front. Okay, so that's your guide, and don't be afraid to trim more off the back if you need to get that dude to fit up in there. I think I'm going to have to do a little bit more work on that to get this thing to fit up in there nicely, but you get the idea here, I hope. You know, the whole concept is you want to get it in there so it's tight, not too tight to where you push the back away from the front of the cab. Okay, don't get it so tight that you do that. That'd be a mistake. You're going to cause more work. Then cut this cab down, and don't forget this part, and then also some of these parts back here that may run into JB Weld right here. Okay, now I don't want to shortchange you, but I mean hopefully you get the idea that it's not rocket science from this point forward. Okay, next what we're going to do is we are ready for some primer. We can go ahead and prime this bad boy and see what we get with that, and then we're going to be finished. So if you have questions or comments, it is 8:50. Let's get those fingers working on them keys and get those comments or questions right there in the comment section. So be looking for those, all right? I'm going to turn the camera up a little bit so we can turn around. There it goes. Okay. There we go. All right. Okay, where I went was to go get my, going for a little ride. I just have a Tupperware dish of lacquer thinner, and that's what I use to clean my parts, in addition to strip paint off of them. I did mention to a few guys that I'm planning to go to buy a gallon jug of carburetor cleaner and use that as my primary stripping material, because man, that stuff is aggressive and it works really well. I mean, I have yet to find anything that's stubborn enough to withstand carburetor cleaner. But I mean, use what you want. Don't. Okay. And it looks like Ward is giving some really good tips on how to make your build even more accurate and special by just going the extra mile and taking a little more time, where I'm not. Okay, this is my goal is to get you information in 30 minutes you can use and then go turn you loose on the world. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just getting the impurities, the oils from my fingers off of this die cast so I can prime it and it doesn't fisheye. And if you've been doing die cast very long and you don't know what fisheye is, you will. It is a matter of time, my friends. So first time builders, be aware of the fisheye. And if you're wondering what it is, you'll see. It'll make you swear, say naughty words, and generally be disagreeable. Okay, let's talk about paint while we're here. Okay, you'll get a million opinions on primer and paint because there's a million types of primer and paint out there. Okay, so this is just one guy's recommendation. If you got a better system, follow it. Matter of fact, I did a tutorial on paint. Go to rockinhtv.com and just type in paint. I forget. Just look on YouTube, search RockinHTV and paint, and you'll get it. Anyways, Um, but for our purposes tonight, I'm using just cheap Krylon Max. Okay, $5 a can. I really actually had pretty good success with this, guys. For me, it works out pretty good. Now, I'm not painting in ideal conditions. It's 54 degrees in this shop, okay? You want it to be about 70. You want your paint to be warm. You want your die cast to be warm. Everything works better when it's warm. Okay. So it's not ideal conditions, but it's what we have, so we're doing it, right? And that's just kind of the way you got to go sometimes. And a lot of you don't have an area to paint, so you got to run outside, shoot your paint, come back in the house, let it warm up, you know, and that's what you got to do because that's what you have. So keep doing it. But for my purposes tonight, just using Krylon Max, nothing special. I've used a lot of self-etching primer from the auto parts store, runs $10 a can, works phenomenal. It's great, it's thin, it's beautiful. This goes on a bit thicker, but you know, there you go. There's your 3-minute or 30-second tutorial on primer. Okay, I'm just going to shoot a little primer over here, and then I'll show you what we have, and then it's time for questions. Okay. Oops, gotta get this out of the road again. Set that down. What, thing's wiggling on me? Quit moving. I'm about 18 inches out from the piece. Okay. And I'm just tacking the inside of the cab just a little bit there. Okay. There you go, guys. There it is in primer, ready to go. Now, one thing you're going to notice when you do your first coat of primer is any imperfections where we join that seam together are going to shine through, okay? So I had told you earlier that I took body paste like I did on the real one over here a few seconds. I took body paste and filled out a crack right here. You can actually see that shining through just a little bit. So what I can do now is go back, when the primer's dry, put more paste over there and sand it and make that invisible. Okay. Then you can come back and look here if there's an air hole inside your JB Weld where you put that on the seam. You're going to see that now with the primer. And for some reason, and I don't know, well, you get so used to looking at it that once the primer's on it, for some reason, then you see all the imperfections, whereas before you couldn't really see them, but now you can. Anyways, you can see the same thing over here on this side. You can see a line right here, and I'll go back and fill that in. Now, when I applied my my Bondo body paste this morning, it was 32 degrees in this room, and I was out here for about, I don't know, 40 minutes before I had to go in and get ready for my day. So, yeah, I think that was probably the contributing factor why that paste didn't work with the diddly. Okay, I think we're done, okay? So you have another little tasty tidbit. I told you this seam right here, you can actually fill this in or leave it however you chose. This seam right here at the top of the cab, let me see if I can get that X-Acto knife right there. Okay. You'll notice at the back here, the line disappears because I filled that in with JB Weld, right? Well, you can actually take your X-Acto knife and carve that out and put that seam to where it would go to the back of the cab. You can do that if you choose to, or if you don't want to, then, don't. So both sides, you could do that if you want to. And then even on the back of the cab, you could put that line all the way across if you want to. That JB Weld will cut with a nice sharp X-Acto knife. But that's entirely up to you. How much detail do you want to go to? It's up to you. Now, if you're a novice, and this is kind of one of your biggest challenges you've ever done, maybe do that on number 2 and just give yourself a nice home run with this one, get some confidence built up, and then go and do a more complicated one. Go add those other details and things on number 2, okay? So, but I mean, if you're a go-getter like Matt, then party on, Wayne. Go get it. All right. Questions, comments, concerns about K100 build, lesson 3. If there's anything, now is your time to shine and ask. If not, I'm going to close up and go take a shower, because I did my workout tonight, and that lady ran me like a dog. Whew, that was a tough one tonight. I don't see any questions, so if you would do me one favor, if you know guys that can benefit from this information, make sure you share these videos. You can actually share this live stream right from your wall, right from your viewing screen if you want to, and and just post it to your wall. You can share it right there. What is the wheelbase of the truck? Yeah, that's a great question. The one I'm replicating, gosh, the guy told me once, but this was like 3 months ago before I decided to do this, and I just out of sight, out of mind, and I failed to get a hold of him today to see how far that thing should really be. If he doesn't respond, I'll just stretch it out and be done with it. Mine, the one I'm going to keep, I have not decided what I'm going to do with it. I think I'm going to do something a little special. I don't know. But it's going to be super long. Will the cab snap down still? Yes, it will, Kent wrote. The cab will snap down, and it will function just like the factory one. It's going to be awesome. Matter of fact, maybe Matt Smith, who has already assembled his... I don't know if Matt's put his on his frame yet or not, but I know he's got his painted. Perhaps if it's this far along where he can put the cab back on, he'd show us. We'll see. Lots of rail, he says. Corey Tweeton's all about wheelbase. He wants that thing stretched out longer than snot. Well, maybe. If I go through with what I'm thinking I'm going to do with mine, it'll be pretty long. Oh, no way, Matt. Not you thought you had me. Nope, not putting a green bed on it. It'll either be a regular truck, not stretched out real long, or it's going to have a different type of bed on it. Who knows? Now you guys get to figure out what I'm going to do. All right, guys, 9 o'clock, 9:01. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the questions in the chat. You guys make this, this is you guys talking to one another and helping each other out makes it all worth it. Don't forget to share, like, comment, do all those things. And next week, we're going to wheelbase. Right there, we're stretching them out. So if you've wanted to see how to stretch out a K100, be here next week. It'll be ready. It is your time to watch. What else? Oh, and then we'll put some color on this bad boy if it looks gorgeous enough to paint. We'll see. We'll catch you later, guys. Thanks so much. Bye.